questions?
So specifically, you can take 12 weeks. Can you stagger that? I mean, for the father decide, hey, the two grandmas are here and the wife, you know, everyone's here to take care of the baby initially, so I only want to take 2 weeks now and maybe take, you know, weeks in the first year or something when the baby's sick or needs more help or something.
Yes,
I
so
mean, how do you work that?
it's very similar to current FMLA where you can take it as needed, but up to that certain amount. So the difference would just be that this will be paid. So yes, if you needed 2 weeks in January and a few weeks later, as long as you had the qualifying event that would give you the leave, then you will be entitled to it.
And what about maxing out the time? Is there a certain amount of time that, you know, you can, I mean, if you take off for a baby and then a month later mom's sick and you take off for mom again, is there like a...
It's up to 12 weeks. So for whatever qualifying event that you have that may occur, once you hit the 12 weeks, you've hit the maximum under this current day.
And that's a year.
Yes. Unless, however, you know, we get an amendment to do 40 weeks like Gary has announced, and then you can have up to 40 weeks. But as the, excuse me, legislation is introduced today, it's 12 weeks.
How was the 12 weeks decided? How was that time frame?
Modeled after the 12 weeks for FMLA generally, and modeled after some of the other maternity leave policies that you see at some of our private businesses.
So you're looking at 12 weeks paid, and then you would still have your 12 weeks unpaid if you needed it, is that right?
You could be forced to take them both at the same time. Now, there's nothing in this bill that would preclude an employer for giving more than what this bill gives you. So if you have a current employee policy that gives you more leave, or your employer would allow you to do 12 weeks under this program, and then you could take advantage of your 12 weeks under your employer's program, there's nothing in the bill that would stop you from doing that. But the employer could say that the 12 weeks would need to be taken together.
Have you had any conversations with the Chamber of Commerce and FIB to ask, you know, to see if they're going to maybe get on board or at least not oppose it?
I have not heard from them yet. You know, we officially introduced the legislation this week, and I'm assuming that interested parties will definitely let me know their opinion.
And did you offered other state estimates earlier, it was 25 to 30 bucks a paycheck, the cost of this?
That was a year for those.
Oh, for the year.
For those states, yes. So when you looked at it, at some of the states, it was sometimes as little as around less than 50 cents a paycheck, depending on the state and the population and et cetera.
How is that self-sustaining? If you imagine that people who do not use this, that would pay into it?
Just like a FMLA policy that you have now, or an employer's current leave policy, not all employees are in a position where they have a new child that joins their family, or a serious medical condition where they need to take advantage of FMLA. So
this is not going to be a voluntary withholding thing. This is going to be taken out of everybody's paycheck?
yes. An employer can choose to pay the amount on behalf of the employee, but like we said, in 2 of the states, the yearly amount deducted is still less than $50. One state was $26, and the other state it was only $30 that an employee paid for the entire year for the paid leave.
Is that withdrawal, is that based on a percentage of your income?
I'm not sure how they came up, if it was a sliding scale or if it's just a set amount per employee. That's part of why, as I mentioned in my earlier comments, we would need to do the actuarial analysis to see what we would need to do in Ohio to make it work, and whether it would have to be a set amount or a sliding scale amount.
Where's the money for the actuarial study?
We are allowed to accept, the bill specifically says that we're allowed to accept grants from foundations or other institutions that are leading on this issue that may want to give that to the state, or we would ask for an allocation, a fiscal allocation.
And how much would that cost?
When they did it in Colorado, it was around $400,000. And so we anticipate that it will probably be around the same.
For those on the lowest end of the pay ladder, we talked about 25 bucks as if it's not that big of a deal. But for someone who's scraping every last penny to be able to survive, $25 is a lot of money.
It is, and 0 is even more to that same individual. So if you think about the difference between them giving up $25 over an entire year or going 12 weeks with 0 leave when they birth a child or have a serious health condition that happens in their family, I think they would choose the $25 over 0 for 3 months.
Or losing their jobs entirely, because they're unable to return.
So the benefits are up to $1,000 a week.
Depending on your weekly average wage, yes.
Is it based off 100% of your average wage, or is it a certain percentage of that, up to $1,000?
It's based off of a certain amount, so it's tiered. So if you make between certain dollar amounts, then you get a certain weekly wage, and that maximum amount is 1,000.
So you don't just get 100, you're not just going to continue to get your same pay that you.
No, no. And if you look at some of the other private and public programs, and just like unemployment compensation, most of them are based on a percentage. They're not 100% of your wage. And for employers that offer leave, that offer 100%, obviously they will continue to do so. This would not give them an opportunity to lose benefits that you already have if you're already covered at 100%.
Do you have any Republican co-sponsors on this yet?
No.
I want to clarify a question that she originally asked. When you say 12 weeks per event, you're not saying per year. Let's say your wife has a child in the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year, a father himself is diagnosed with cancer and needs to take some kind of leave. Are those considered two separate events?
Those are two separate events, but no matter how many events you have, you only have 12 weeks of paid leave for the year
Okay, thank you.
under this program.